They are light, they are no light, and they produce sound, and the sound is heard, and then there are instructions within the sound, or flavors, we'll say, of pleasure, and then you've got reduced to words for instructions. The words are what holds up the stars in your sky. You don't do it. Gravitational forces don't do it. The electrical forces don't do it. Magnetic forces don't do it. It's the process of the words that keeps your stars where they are. They all came out, everything, from your understanding, from the black hole behind Sirius. There's a condition there. The condition is called, we'll call it the dragons of the elementals. It's a word you need to understand. And being dragon, it means it moves. It's not limited by anything. It produced this portion of your framework, we'll call it, being a human, came through the black hole behind Sirius, Sirius B. And like we've said before, you came from there with a message. And as you got to Sirius B, you changed horses, like a Pony Express rider. You went to Sirius A, you changed horses. By that I mean you got another body. Sirius A, then you went to what is called the Jerusalem Command in the Belt of Orion, the center star. You changed horses, you got another body. You came as the messenger. Each portion you changed horses, which is your body. The divine self of you, what you call your dragon energy, is the rider. It knew it needed another horse because the horse got worn out on the journey. The divine part didn't. So it made another horse. You're the horse. Now you're here. And what you haven't quite got yet is you're still a horse. You have a rider. That's why you have a harness, and that's why you can do certain things and can't, because your rider is determining now, and is elevating the, I want to say, experience, and that the rider can be more present within the physical vehicle called you. So you're not just a horse, you're going to find out that you're also the rider, which is another way of saying that you are your high self. But you're more, the high self is a concept that you think is a human construct. It's not. It's much more fluidic, much more everywhere, everywhere. Much more a process of enjoying divine splendor. Experiencing it in the physical as an emotional understanding, and experiencing it all the way up the chain, back. Because you never forgot the horse that you rode. And you go back and reclaim it. In other words, you go back to the center star of Orion and reclaim that body. You go back to Sirius A and reclaim that body and merge with it. You go back to Sirius B, reclaim that body and merge with it. And then you go back through the black hole behind Sirius B and be with your, what you call dragon entities. We're going to have to use that word because it's a movement word and it's significant in the power of it, because you've all heard stories of dragons. That's how before ancient you are. I said before ancient. Ancient refers to time. There's no time. And that's the process you're in now. Each chakra is getting an awakening. Each chakra's command structure is beginning to recognize itself as being commander of the chakra. Each chakra is beginning to communicate with each one until the disturbance happens, confusion I mean, that you are not only meditating in the solar plexus, you're also meditating behind you. That's what the three side, you have three of you. Three entity forces. You have the Father, and you have the Son. You're all the Son. Forget the gender specifics. You have a producer, and you're the product, and the Holy Spirit's the integrator. That's the way it is. And the recognition is that you're going to understand the love of it, that it happened that way. Because you're all learning something. Always. You always learn something. The greater part of your learning occurs upon your waking up when the sun comes up and you understand the purpose of the dew. It fed you and feeds your plants. Fed you way back when. That's why you're still here. Some beings have the ability to talk to the sun. Some beings have the ability to talk to the moon. When you understand why that ability was given to you, you'll understand the significance of time. And I don't mean your clocks. I'm talking about rotation. But that's what time is, rotation. Nothing else. It's movement. God does not sit still. There are those that like to sit on a throne, but they don't do anything. Truth always moves. And it's always present. The recognition of it and the acknowledgement of it is very difficult, however. And you're going to find out that the body produces the truth of you. So you eventually come out of your denial of who you are. And no one else needs to know it. No one. You need to remember it and respect the divine principles that are within you. Everyone needs to do that. Once that's done, you'll find out that you're a lightning rod, in a manner, for all processes to begin. Boom. From the stars down to you. Yep. And then you find out you're holding up the stars. You're grateful for it. You're within the stars. You're actually in the space between the stars. And you've got your horses in several places out there. You're going back through that process now. Back to the Jerusalem command, back to Sirius A, back to Sirius B. You're not involved in the collapse of star systems yet. You're involved in the stabilization of star systems. That's what you're involved with. That's the process. Remember the dew. Remember you were dust. And the dew revives the dust. The dew revives the dust. I could tell you a secret about water. For ones that where you say are dying. Sprinkle a little water. Spray it. The body reacts. The dust portion of you reacts. And you can resuscitate ones just by sprinkling water on them. Because they'll know they're dust. But you have to talk to the spirit force whether it wants to go back into the dust. That's the other thing. Eventually you'll find out that death is not a process you have to go through. Unless you want to. And that's why there's so much suicide now going on. Nobody's been taught anything. And they think next time, because they've heard of reincarnation, is going to be better. It isn't. You're going to go back 2 steps because you haven't learned how to proceed. So breath and water, thankfulness for the dew, and the dew comes from the heat of the sun. Condensation from the night of cold. That's where you come from. As the new horse here. Because your spiritual force changes the horses. Any questions?
One on the material and one personal.
Yeah.
I'm not at the point where you talked about the solar plexus, the clarity,
Yeah.
the real power in the shoulder bones and all that, and the chakras in the triangle. But then you talked about the challenger, argue against you before God. I don't know who the challenger is.
Well, you beings call them Satan,
Oh.
but it's another
oh,
force.
Oh, I see.
right?
I see. I thought it was a part of ourself that was,
Well, it's a part that was entertained by that one. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I didn't know.
It's just a recognition you need to get.
Okay.
The one that's trying to, oh, I don't want to do that. But you'll hear the thought pushed of it. And when you're in meditation, I'll give you a clue. When you're in meditation, in your house, and you're meditating, and you're getting very strong in your meditation, your phone rings. Who's trying to interfere? Or did you call that?
Okay.
Seth explains that in his book.
Okay. Now the personal question is, my hair is starting to fall out, and is it stress? Is it some kind of a message? What am I doing wrong?
It's not the right or wrong thing. You beings, as you proceed to higher levels of consciousness, don't have hair, little hair. That's why you see your monks with shaved heads at times. They're trying to imitate that. But it's a natural process. And you'll find out that there's another crown coming. Your hair is a crown of your being right now, in your world. As it is removed or moving off, you get another crown to replace it. It is in a manner, I'll put it this way. You're being initiated into the Buddhic understanding. And then you'll understand what hair is, how you form it, how you not form it, how the thoughts are stuck in your hair at times, for your hair retains thoughts. And there's some thoughts are not appropriate at certain times, they need to fall away. What you let means you let go of it, basically. So it's not you doing it, you're not doing anything wrong. You're going through a process of initiation and the preparing for the acceptance of the robe which comes upon you. There's a robe that comes down.
But it doesn't go, all my hair doesn't fall
No.
out. Okay.
No. You're just getting the signals of change, that's what you're getting.
I like my hair.
It's a crown, indeed. Yeah. You can tell it to grow again. What you do is, follicles are there, yeah?
Yeah.
Open.
Oh.
Breathe and push. You can actually change the color of your hair if you're inclined. If you knew what you're doing. You breathe the thoughts of the color through the chakras, because those follicles are really chakras for growth. Breathe it up, push it out. Yeah.
I always said if I ever did allow myself to become spiritual, I'd have red hair. So.
No, you can do red. Huh? What color? What fruit is great for red?
What fruit is red? I love strawberries and grapes and.
Well, grapes aren't red.
No, they're purple. Strawberries.
Strawberries have seeds, which causes confusion.
Oh.
My suggestion: one seed, cherries.
Cherries. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What an interesting. That's the farthest thing from my mind. I'm going to a doctor this afternoon because my hair.
Mm.
To ask him why my hair is falling out.
Oh, I know. Just see what it is.
I thought I didn't get enough iron.
To change, it has nothing to do with iron. Protein.
I need more protein?
Protein.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I eat mostly salads. Oh.
No, protein for hair.
Need more protein.
Protein.
Okay.
Protein. You can buy protein and mix it with milk and things and make a protein drink or any drink, but more protein produces the hair.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless hair moves out of stress too.
Well, I certainly have been stressed, yes.
Yeah. So
Money.
yeah. So you calm down the thing, yeah. Less stress. Cherries, if you want to change the color.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to probably confuse you a bit when it starts changing. But the protein stress is not when you get stressed, you're pulling down into the interior portion of yourself for survival. Basically, is what happens. So you don't need the exterior presentation. So you just kind of get rid of it, basically. So you can be more present with this. So when you release the stress, and the stress would be the meditation, center your being.
Okay.
Meditate, sit. In any position you can choose. Just look at the bodhisattvas in their positions. They give you many positions. You just tactically assume that position, and you don't need to do it for very long. I suggest you do it in the early morning when you get up, when the sun comes up and the dew comes. Because what's really happening in a meditation is you're talking to the dew from your dust portion when the sun comes up. And there's a secret in that sun coming up thing. When it first cracks above the horizon, the first break in that sun, there's an enormous rush of energy. You think it would be bigger as it comes up. No, that's just. But there's a hold at the gate, so to speak, from your world thing. And as the gate opens, there's a rush, and that rush is the healing force of the dew, or the healing force that perpetuates the dew. Let's put it that way. So you sit and breathe that one in, and you'll find yourself in a whole nother place, pretty much. Actually, you don't breathe it in, you let it breathe you. Yeah? And you'll probably see two eyes of the Buddha one when you do that, looking at you. And just remember, if you do see those eyes, say Om Tat Sat. Okay? Because that means this is that, and you're equal. You don't want to compete with that one.
Okay, I'll take out the hair, but leave the... Well, what I'll do is like I do, I'll just say someone had a question, because this is good for other people too.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But particularly the stress thing.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what's...
I'm
yes.
just going to believe that I can manifest enough money and quit stressing. Okay.
Your... how do I say this? We're going to have to... Well, your beings have this idea of manifesting, and the word is understood for what it means. I mean, but you're really going to find out that you're presented with these things. So you'll prepare yourself for the presentation of them. And then you understand the grace of it. It's not really you doing it. It's the presenter giving it to you, just like the sun produces the dew.
Ah.
Okay?
So I don't have to have the stress of manifesting, just
No.
allow to receive.
Well, to be presented. And when you work with your sun in the morning, you're going to see how it's presented.
Ah.
You feel it. You'll know.
See, okay.
And emotionally, to reduce the stress, you need to talk to your moon. Ask her to help, because that's what rules the waters. Actually, the waters rule the moon, but there's a condition here that you will understand yourself.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay?
I'd ask who's talking, but you always make up a name, and it's the same group, so I don't know.
Well, today was the spirit of space. I'll
Oh,
say
good.
this,
Welcome back. I
Yes.
missed you.
Yes.
Okay.
We're trying to, as we speak these things to you, we speak from an invisible place. And we also educate those that are between visible and invisible. So we have to be careful of when we say names,
Okay.
because they do things. It sets certain things in order.
Mm.
It's like a general showing up, so to speak, you know what I mean, at times.
Okay.
So we have to be careful. You don't appear to confuse beings.
Okay.
It affects the heart chakra. That's what it does.
But you're educating other people besides humans with these
And
talks.
educating the beings around here in the space.
Mm-hmm.
That's in your area here, Flagstaff. There's Native Americans that come that listen.
Ah,
Okay, because they have prophecies,
mm-hmm.
and you're in the time of their prophecies.
I see. They come astrally?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And some walking by the place. You might not think they are. They might look like hobos or something.
Oh,
But they come, the shamanic ones.
far out.
You know, they come to hear, and then they come to go back to present.
Okay.
In ceremony, of course.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
No, you've solved my weekly problems.
Okay. We're going to have a visit with you in your hair thing
Oh,
and show you how to do it. So if your scalp starts tingling,
all right,
it's one of my little elves working.
all right.
Okay?
Yeah, I do like my hair.
Okay. We are through.
Okay, bless you.